You know, I have a hard time writing log lines. I'm getting better at it. You know, I get better at taking other people's log lines and saying, hey, why don't you try this? And for some reason, I'm rolling them out. I'm like, wow, that was really good. I wish I would have thought of that. But then my own log lines, I'm like, how I got to cut this down from 75 words? How am I going to do that? You know?
They're hard. I mean, log lines are really, really hard. You know, no doubt about it. They are incredibly important, and you need them for everything. Query letters, pitches, you know, having a conversation about your script. You need log lines. You know, there really is no other way around it. So, yes, they're incredibly hard to do. They too, I mean, they're hard for me, and I do them every single day, and I teach them, and they're still hard. There is a basic kind of formula that I tend to, you know, like using, and I'm picky with my log lines because they're hard, but if you know your story and you know what works about your story, it shouldn't be that incredibly hard, you know, to really write one. But I kind of always start, you want to start with the inciting incident. You want to start with, well, actually, I'll give you the basic first. The basic logline is this. When this happens, this person must verb this before or else this consequence occurs. I'll say it again. It's the core format of every logline that you just jazz up. But it's just, when this happens, this person must verb this before or else this consequence occurs. And it gets across all the important stuff that you need in a logline. When you use when or after or as when you start a logline, it tells us that we're going to get the inciting incident right up front instead of the whole logline being the inciting incident, which is one of the major mistakes writers make with loglines. So if you use when, after, as, this happens, whatever your inciting incident is, then you introduce your big protagonist, you know, what they have to do, what their goal is, what's stopping them from achieving that goal, or, you know, what the major conflict of the story is, and basically what the stakes are, you know, or else this happens, you know, what the stakes of the story are.
Dude, that's perfect.
And that should also allude to your big climax.
That's perfect, because it's like the ad-libs. It's like the ad-libs. You remember when we were younger, man? You're probably a little younger than me, but... Sure. When we were younger, man, we had the ad-lib book, you know, put noun here, adverb here, you know, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, you're like, oh, shit, it's a story. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's exactly it. What I tell people with loglines is that, you know, a lot of people write their script and then come up with a logline.
Oh, God.
I would suggest writing your logline first.
Don't remind me. That was how me and you got into it the first time right there, because I was like, screw that shit, man. I never write loglines first. Screw that. And you're like, dude, what do you want, crack?
Yeah, I mean, you only get, you know, 20 seconds sometimes to hook someone and tell them about the script or pitch the script, and that's going to be a log line. So, you know, and they've got to be short, concise. They're not paragraphs. They're not, you know, synopses. You've got 35 words or less to tell them exactly why they're going to love your story and what's special about it. You know, you got to bring out the character, why we're going to like him, the hook, the genre, the setting, all of those things, and you have to do it in a very, very small amount of words and time. So, yeah, loglines are incredibly important, and they will tell you and someone else what the most commercial and interesting parts of your story are. So, and what the hook of your story is. So, if you know that before you start writing the script, once you've come up with the concept, obviously, and you can write down the logline, you can kind of start seeing if your story as it unfolds matches that logline, or if you're going in a very different direction and changing your story, or going off track, or not focusing on what is commercial about your story. So I'm a big proponent of loglines. I think they're a necessity. Even if it's a unfortunate necessity or a hard necessity, I think you got to do them, and they're not easy. But if you follow a basic format and just jazz it up from there, you'll be pretty safe.